I love watercolor. It's so fresh and it's so spontaneous and it's so exciting. I believe very strongly that we're all born to create, and I think that you can do it if you think you can. It takes desire, it takes determination, and it takes practice. But even more important when it comes to watercolor, it takes learning the basic skills and understanding the fundamental principles. And that's what I want to show you in this video. The next demonstration I want to show you is how to do the same thing, mixing just a little bit of color. We're going to make a similar kind of landscape, and we're going to use two colors this time. The reason for using the two colors, and the reason for not getting into color mixing yet, is that it can be very confusing to mix color. So if we just stay with the two colors, you can still get a sense of distance by using cool colors in the background and warm colors in the foreground. So I'm going to start here. The two colors I'm going to use are going to be ultramarine blue, which is a very nice, rich blue, and I'm going to use burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is a rich, rusty brown. Now the beauty of using these two colors is that when you mix the two of them together, you get a nice range of grays and different shades of brown. So what you want to do is use these cooler colors in the distance with softer edges to create a sense of distance and use the warmer colors to come forward. Now let's see how that works. Let's do another simple landscape here. Get another ground line in. This time let's put 3 trees in over here. We'll just put a little background in there of distant trees. So I'm going to start with a cool blue in the sky. I'm going to tone it down just a little bit with the brown so it's not a bright blue, because this would be a little garish for my sky. Keep that value very light. And as I go down, add more water. And when I get down near the ground here, I'm going to put in some warm color, sort of to represent the light bouncing off the ground there. And a little bit of this up in here so that when I put in my clouds will have a little warm area to them. Gotten the wrong blue there. I hate it when I do that. There we go. That's the right one. So I'm going to put another little storm clouds in this sky too. Now I think I'm ready to pick up this pale blue that's going to go into these little background trees here. Very soft edges. Now I think I'll show you a little trick with the knife. You can mark with the knife. And that scratches the paper and the paint soaks into the paper. You can also push with the knife and it'll give you light marks. Now if I decide I'm going to make this water here, then what I want to do is get a little bit of color down in here before I start to flow on the watercolor, and I always want the water to reflect the sky, so I need to use the same colors in the water that I have in the sky. That's your little clue that you give your viewers, that you're painting water. They're looking at water. Then where I've got this bead, I'm going to come up and touch up into that and let a little bit of that run down. Didn't have enough of it, so I need to go back in and pick up some of this color so that I get the reflection of the trees from above. And then all I have left to do is to use my warm color, my burnt sienna, and pat that in here to make my foreground trees. It's really very simple. Now, you'll find that it works a lot better if you are letting your paper dry before you go on to the next step. Let's put in just a few little bushes right down here. This is what we call an aerial perspective effect. The cooler colors in the distance and the warmer colors in the foreground. That's color temperature. The warmer being the burnt sienna and the cooler being the blue, the ultramarine blue. Now I have two finished paintings I want you to look at here. This one is an example. It was a demonstration that I did for another class, and this particular painting is done with the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna, and I wanted you to see this so you could see how a little painting like this can be finished to look very nice in a mat. It's just a simple little sketch, but it doesn't have to be a very complicated painting to look nice in a mat. Even your early paintings can look nice. And then I have a second painting that I would like to show you, and the second painting is done in the same fashion, but this time I've used two other colors. I've used Rembrandt bluish green and I've used cadmium scarlet. And so this is an example of how you can use different combinations of a warm color and a cool color for your little studies, and then when you mat them and frame them nicely, you have a very nice piece of work. In this little video, what I've tried to do is give you an idea of what the most basic things are that you need to know to paint in watercolor. These are the books that I've published within the last few years. It's important for you to learn the basics, and what you do in order to accomplish this is you read the books, you take classes, and most important, you practice and you believe in yourselves.